Enthusiasts, and welcome to the V-Twin Life here on YouTube. We talk motorcycles powered by those V-Twins, what fuels our passion, why you enjoy it so much. V-Twin Life is brought to you by these two great companies, Crash Inc. Clothing and Wild Ass Seats. Hey, you want to add some comfort to your ass when you're out riding, whether you're a 400-mile guy or maybe a guy that's pushing 1,000 plus, or female rider for that matter? Hey, check out wild-ass.com and add some comfort to your ass. Can't forget Crashing Clothing, that Northwest brand out of the Pacific Northwest. Hey, these guys got a lot of great stuff, from t-shirts to hats, raincoats, you name it. Hey, they can get you covered. Check out crashingclothing.com. Now, let's dive into another milepost of the V-Twin Life. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Sunday, another milepost here on the V-Twin Life. Tonight we got Dustin Thacker, part of the Five Dirty Bikers. I guess say, founder of the Five Dirty Bikers. And
I can't take that credit solely, no, but I'm one of the originals. So
there we go. Hey, that works.
Been there since the beginning, man.
But no, you guys got a great show, and we first linked up. God, it would have been for Milepost 39, which was the Veterans Memorial for when I redid the first episode for Leo.
Yeah, for Leo.
You had emailed a piece in, and thank you for being part of that, and that was awesome. And ever since it's like, I thought it'd be a great idea to come hang out and talk. I mean, you guys are a big part of the motorcycle community. I mean, you yourself do a lot of stuff with motorcycles, and we're all part of this community, and I'll enjoy it, and I'll enjoy life on two wheels. So, why not come on and get you to come hang out and talk some about and hear how you came into life on two wheels.
Well, sure. Well, thank you very much for having me on tonight. I really appreciate it. So, coming into two wheels, I don't know if I should start at the very, very beginning or if I should start at kind of where life is right now. But I started riding in 2017, and this all stemmed from alcohol. I don't want to sit here and say I'm a drunk or anything like that, but me and a buddy were sitting in a bar one night, and we were like, we should get bikes. And, the Coors Light was hitting pretty good that night. And I said, yeah, you're right. But you never know. Drunk ideas aren't always the best ideas, but I ended up taking it seriously. Kind of went on, was kind of doing my research, and I think living on Route 66 here has a lot to do with it too, on the influence. But I really started diving in, man. Started looking at different types of motorcycles, riding, how if I have the coordination for it and if it was going to work for me. So pretty much I said, yeah, I want to do this. Took the MSF course. Started riding in 17 and been doing it ever since. I've been loving it, man.
So you first came into it just on street bikes. So that was your background. You never dibble-dabbled before that, and you just started out on the road?
No. It's always been on the road for me. I mean, I had friends growing up that had dirt bikes and stuff like that, but it was never nothing I was interested in. So if you want to really go back to where bikes really got introduced in my life, my uncle had I think an 85 Honda Interceptor. And one day we went over to my grandma's house where he was living at the time, and we forgot something at home, right? So my uncle says, I will go get it. And he looks at me and he says, do you want to go with me? And I know he's got a motorcycle at the time. So I'm like, okay. And I'm like 9, maybe 8 or whatever. So he throws this big helmet on my head, and I get on this Honda, and I have no idea what to expect, right? I've never been on a bike before this, and I'm really young. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm thinking I'm going to be Mr. Cool here, 8 years old, riding back to Gillespie on a motorcycle. But I got on the back of that bike, and he tells me hold on, so I'm just kind of holding on, and I have no idea what's going to happen next. He ends up taking off, popping a wheelie, and I almost lose him. I'm not holding on to him firmly. I'm just holding on to him, and he's not telling me this is going to happen. And then he proceeds to do 80 miles an hour all the way back on Route 16 back to where I live, and I was terrified. And I tell him when we're heading back, I said, "Could you slow down a little bit?" Because I distinctly remember this, even though I was 8. But he took it easy on the way back, and I kind of swore myself off bikes. I thought I'd never get on one again, and then now look at me. I'm 5 years into this, going on 6, and I've been loving every minute of it.
They are fun, and it's an awesome way to, even traveling, riding around, just the sense of freedom. But then also, I mean, for a lot of people, it's an awesome way to just go for having a bad day, even if you just do 5 miles down the road, clear your head and come back and just feel way better, and just life's good.
Absolutely, I agree. There's so many things that can get in the way of riding, even though we love some of those things and maybe we don't. But at the end of the day, a good old bike ride can take care of anything. It's good medicine.
Oh, absolutely, two-wheel therapy.
Oh yeah.
So why don't you dibble dabble here? So what are you riding now? Let everybody know.
Right now, I'm on a release year 2018 Sport Glide. I've been riding it since it came out in 18. It was a mid-year release. And before that, I was riding a Sportster. So I really wanted to work my way up to something bigger because I was ready. I rode that Sportster for, I think I put 8,000 miles on it when I got it in, I don't know, a year and a half. And then I saw during Harley's release, they had this new bike out. Well, I should say new. It's kind of a reincarnation of the old Switchback, the old Dyna Switchback.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw the side profile of this bike, and I'm like, that's the next bike I want. It's got bags on it. You can short distance, long distance. I bet this thing could do it all. So when it finally hit my local dealership here in Alton, about 40 minutes south, I had to go test ride it. There was an event going on. I think it was a food truck event at the dealership, and then they had test rides going on. So I jumped on it and fell in love right away. I was like, I got to get this bike. So another month, I had the bike, and I've got over 17,000 miles on it now. And it just sucks that we just hit winter temperatures here in Illinois, but it's always something to look forward to. It's like Christmas come springtime when everything thaws out.
Yeah, we got into the colder temps here, but I don't know. Still, if I can get a day the high 40s, I mean, I'll go out for a little while, just dress in layers and just try to get a little bit of therapy session and just enjoy a little rip around. As long as the roads aren't coated in de-icer. They use a lot of de-icer up here on the highways. That stuff is just corrosive and will just trash your bike.
Yeah, anything with salt on it's bad. They do that here too, so I usually know when to put the bike up. I mean, I hate doing it. I try to ride at least every month, whether it's one day or 30 days or whatever. But usually February here is brutal.
Yeah, you're kind of in the heart of winter. I mean, they say winter actually doesn't start till mid-December.
Well, it's weird here because 25 years ago, we'd have a half a foot of snow on the ground right now. I mean, now we're lucky if we get snow in November. It's just the weather patterns have just changed so drastically in, like I said, the last 20 years. But anyway, it's good for us if you want to get out and ride, if you want to do 32 degrees to work or whatever, which I've done more than 100 times.
So yeah, Dallas had a good question. Well, where exactly are you located in Illinois?
So I'm pretty much, you would consider me maybe south central, almost St. Louis metropolitan area. So I'm about a mile south of Springfield, Illinois, and a mile north of St. Louis. So I'm right in the middle of, two good sized cities.
Yeah, I know he's down in Tennessee. So
beautiful state. I can't wait to ride there. I want to do the Dragon, of course, but there's so many great roads out there and in Kentucky. And if I wouldn't live in here, I'd probably be living out there, to tell you the truth.
I'd like to get through Kentucky now. I mean, I want to get through the East Coast, but there are some great places like Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee. Just love to see some of that area.
Yeah. Definitely worth it if you get up to the Smokies. And when we had FDBM 21, it was out in Louisville. So we were riding out in bourbon country. So you got some windy roads that could be somewhat sketchy especially if you're a new rider, but it's just it's a beautiful state to ride through. Had a good time out there.
Yeah, Dallas is, you guys are neighbors. You're only like 6 hours away.
There you go. I'll meet you 3 hours. How about that? You go 3 hours, I'll go 3 hours.
You done much touring on your bike at all, or you just mainly kind of day ripping it?
I wouldn't say day ripping it. I've done some long weekends and stuff to Louisville. Of course, been out to Uranus, Missouri like 4 times this year. So doing some long weekends and stuff like that. Haven't I haven't been in the position in life right now to go do long hauls, but of course, I'm creating a bucket list right now, so there's no shortage of trips I want to do down the road. But right now, it's more like go do a 250-mile rip on a Saturday or a Sunday, or commute every day to work I can if the weather allows me to, and that's pretty much life right now. But it's exciting to know that even though I'm 40, like some of the fun years are really ahead of me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm right there. I mean, I'm not much older. I'm 45 in March, but same way. It's like, you get that time where you get older, you get more time, and life opens up.
Yep.
So when you're talking commuting, how far of a commute do you have for your job?
It's only 10 minutes, which is a shame.
Okay.
Because by the time you get warmed up with heated gear or whatever, you got to take it up. You got to take it back off, especially if you're riding in the winter cold or whatever. But makes you wish you had a longer commute, because anytime you get on the bike, you just want to spend as much time on it as you can.
Yeah, I know a couple guys at work give me shit. Why don't you ride your bike to work? It's like, dude, my commute's a half mile. In the morning, it's like 90 seconds. It's like, I would spend more time. By the time I open my garage door, roll the bike out, start it up, it's like I could be at work in my truck. It's pointless.
Yeah, you could just walk, man.
There's that too, but it's cold in the morning.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah. Right now, yeah. Never mind what I
It's
said.
like, shoot, I used to have one job. I used to commute 65 miles one way, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And times you take the bike and just go, but
Yeah,
I
a
don't
lot of the
miss that
jobs
job.
I had in the past, I had at least a 30-minute commute, so it would have been nice to have a bike for that. Now I've only got a 10-minute commute, and I got the bike
Right.
now. So, how's that for irony?
I get some of those days just, yeah, I can't make it, just keep going.
Yep. I went like once a year. I do one of these rides where I just take a day off, and it's usually in October, and I just go 250 miles. I just pick a direction and go. I don't know where. I don't plan anything. I don't know where I'm going. I just go. And that's what I did just this past Thursday. You talk about just a way to clear your mind.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
Kind
not
of
a
a
bad
little,
idea.
just a little tradition I've kind of made for myself, just if I have extra vacation time and I can afford to take the day to do that, it was good. It's like that therapy you talked about earlier. Just clear your mind, just not worry about anything but you, the motor in between your legs and the road.
Yeah, even sometimes like guys talk about doing that on a weekend getaway. Don't pick a destination, just pick a direction and ride till you feel like, all right, cool, here's a good place to stay, and call it a day. Just let your mind go and just follow the road.
Yeah. Said I've been fortunate enough to live in a big city, and then of course here in the Midwest in Illinois. So I've got to experience a lot of different things as far as culture goes, living the life of living in a big city. Excuse me. And of course living in a small town in a rural community. But having that time out in Phoenix was where I went to school, and having that thought in my mind to go do a ride out into the desert, to like maybe to stay in Flagstaff, because I've done this once before, stay in Flagstaff at a campsite where you got snow-capped mountains, and then riding down into the valley, a day later where it's going to be 90 degrees.
Yeah, and then those guys, you get down there, you get year-round riding. I know that buddy Leo that lives down there's been on there, talking about how the weather was, I don't know, I think it was like 80 something down there in Phoenix or something today. It's like, you can piss off.
I don't know. I think there's a certain appreciation you have that the Southerners and the people out west may not have when you live in the Midwest or a cold weather state, where you have to put that bike up and put it under the sheet, and then it's like Christmas morning when you get to pull that sheet off and take it out for its first ride. I think you just appreciate it a little more, but doesn't mean you love it any less.
That's a good way of putting it. A good point.
Yeah.
But then you get those days where it blue skies, but it's cold as shit, and you're just like, God damn, it's just like teaser weather. You just want to go.
Yeah, I got a car, but I mean, would you rather? It's one of those questions.
Long johns, fleece insulated pants.
Yeah. So what's the coldest weather that you've ridden in to date?
Mid-20s.
Mid-20s? Okay.
Yeah, I had one trip when I worked out on the west coast of the prison. The sides of the road looked like they were just covered in diamonds. And I was like in the middle point. I'm like, maybe this wasn't a good idea.
I kind of felt that way when they had Leo's 1 year anniversary ride down at the Scott City Missouri Harley-Davidson. It was like 28 when I pulled out of here. And I bought heated gear specifically to go to this event because I told Tina, it's like, I'm not going to miss this for Leo. It's like, I'm going to make sure I'm there. And, I'm hitting the interstate, which is about 95% of the ride. And you talk about a cold ride. I mean, I had heated pants on, heated top on, several layers, the balaclava on, the best helmet I had for the ride situation. I mean, I made it. I was fine. By the time I got there, I needed to thaw myself out.
Oh, I bet.
It was a good day, though. That ride, it was one of the longest rides I had done to date at that point. And going to do that for a friend that, even though I didn't know him for a long time, made a big impression on me. And it sounds like he did on you as well. And there were so many good people talking about him on that podcast you did. And we do miss Leo. So, Leo, happy belated Veterans Day. And
amen.
yeah, hope you're riding well up there.
I was honored. He was the very first guest I ever had.
Yep, I remember you saying that.
It was so much fun to talk with him and hear his story. I mean, it was, that's the whole reason behind why I started this is, hear everybody's background. Hey, how'd you get into life on two wheels? Because we all have that common ground, and just we all come into it at different times of life, different styles of, where it started from, whether dirt, street, road. I mean, there's so much different ways how we were all introduced to it, whether a family member, uncle, cousin, neighbor. And it's really cool to do this and share other people's story and build friendships.
1,000%. And he was one of the few handful of people to come to the first FDB meetup back in 19. And, we're a bunch of people that went and met out in the woods. Now, how many people would say they would go meet a bunch of strangers out in the woods? But no, it was a great time. We had a good ride when he was there. Kept in touch afterwards. Just good times and good memories, just to share forever.
Yeah.
And I still keep in touch with Tina too. I was trying to get her to come to FDBM this year, but she couldn't make it. But and it sucked because he had his 2-year memorial ride. Not too long ago, but it was the Autism Speaks walk that day in St. Louis, which my family does every year. So I was like, man, and it was such a nice day that day too for October. So I was bummed I missed it, but there'll be next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is the longest ride you've ever had to date then when it comes to distance riding for you?
I'm gonna say it was back in 20. When the C word was going on strong, I got an invitation to go stay out with Tony in Louisville. And it was only 300 miles, but at that point it was the longest ride I've ever done. And I've been out there another time since, but I think as far as one way, that's it. It was like an 800 mile weekend, with riding out there in bourbon country and then actually going out there and coming back. So it was 600 miles there and back. And it's exactly 300 miles to Tony's doorstep from my doorstep. But that's the longest trip and the longest ride probably all encompassed in one. Yeah.
Okay. And that's all part of, I mean, it's being part, like there's a long distance riders group. And I remember back a guy made a comment, well, what is a long distance ride? Well, a long distance ride is going to be different to anybody. Everybody's going to have their ideas, and it's no long distance is the same. I mean, we all have different theories and we all ride different styles. So
yeah, it's all relative. Like I'm looking forward to the time, and I do intend on doing some long distance stuff. I wish I could do the stuff that Ryan and Percy do. They're putting 10,000-15,000 miles a year on their bike. I'm probably doing between 3 and 5. But I mean, that's good enough for me, and it's amazing that they can do that. And I'm really looking to the day where I can do that for myself, because I've got lots, like I said, I got lots of bucket list rides I want to do.
Oh, I've built quite the bucket list of rides just from everybody that I've met doing this. And you hear about different places in the country and all this stuff. And you hear so many people, they want to explore, ride Europe. I want to ride Scotland. I want to go here. But, how many of those people have ever actually tried to explore so many of the areas that we have here when you're not even talking about like your main big hub national park stuff? I mean, there's so many back roads, some cool places. And we have so much within our own borders to explore. I mean, I think it'd take a long time to actually hit everything and find all the cool nicks and crannies of our own country.
Yeah, a couple things I really want to do because I'm in pissing distance of 66. It's like right over here. So to do a ride from here to the coast would be amazing. Like I talked about earlier, going to Phoenix would be amazing since I live there and I still got people and connections out there that I'll have a place to stay, you know. Me and Percy on the podcast, we talk about doing a ride where I ride to his place and then ride up the East Coast and go have a lobster roll in Maine. I mean, a lot of these rides they're very food influenced.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. Like I said the other day, I got Stacy Wilt disease. I just want to ride to food.
Or Reef and K Solo, the whole ride to eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting group right there too.
Yeah, I know Ryan rode 500 miles for tacos not too long ago. That's a commitment.
Who else I had somebody on that was the same
ice
thing.
and I think he's just used to eating ice and Pine Tree. He's got to get out to eat that good stuff.
Yeah, because I had one guy, and he was talking the same thing. It was like a 600 or 700 mile ride. Oh, yeah.
That guy, I swear.
But it's all part of the fun and the adventure. You know, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Nathan. He was a few episodes back. He did that. It was like 1,000 miles to go have some burgers someplace at some little barbecue place. It's like, damn.
Yeah, I'd ride to Texas just for barbecue. At least I know some people down there now that can keep me company while I'm eating.
I would love to hit up some barbecue joints in Texas for sure.
Yeah, I mean we got some good ones here too in Missouri, but I'm a big fan of Nashville, like the Tennessee barbecue. That's my go-to.
But that's kind of cool thing though. You get in other places, you get to see, you know, I don't know the right way, cultural based, because I mean we all have barbecues, but it's all, you know, everybody's style is different. You know, it's gonna be. I mean, you can you can go barbecue place in Nashville, barbecue, you know, Louisiana, Texas, or up here in the Northwest. It's barbecue, but it's all different. You can order the same thing, and it's going to be different at every place.
Oh, yep, same way here. You know, we got St. Louis style barbecue here, but there's like a lot of these mom and pop shops around here because I'm small town Midwest, so there's a lot of mom and pop places. And it's where you get the best food, man. The greasy spoon places. That's what I live for.
And that's, you know, the best way to travel. You talk mom and pop is ride them back roads and find the mom and pop restaurants for breakfast or lunch or, you know, dinner. I mean, find some cool atmosphere, some amazing places, and some of the best food you've ever had.
Amen. Amen, man.
It is very fun.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, too. Even living in your own state, the bike can do so much for you with exploring. Because in a car, you're kind of like, yeah, I'll go from here to there. But you get on a bike, you just want to go everywhere. So it gives you really a chance to explore just within 2 hours from where you sit.
Oh, there's a lot. I think for, you know, my wife and I and our family, we found so many places from all of our kids' sporting adventures. I mean, we traveled the Northwest for baseball everywhere. Their sons and, you know, daughter doing horse and volleyball stuff. But we found so many hole-in-the-wall places just from all the traveling we did for our kids and whatnot that, you know, we've kind of gone back to go try to find some. And you remember when you're going down the highways, hey, we were down over there. And you remember little places when you pass them on the highways. Oh, shit, we've been here before.
Yeah. It's nostalgia, too, because one of the places I rode to on that ride I took a couple weekends ago, actually say a couple weeks ago, it was during work, so I took a day off, right? But anyway, it was a place I used to play soccer when I was a kid. So I just rode by the field, you know, where I played when I was a kid. That was all I needed. I rode back home or back another direction. But yeah, it's kind of neat to revisit those places on bike because there's so much more sensory overload you can get from being on two wheels.
Oh, it is. And it's, especially you see something cool on the side of the road. Oh, excuse me. It's so much easier to pull over on a motorcycle than it is a car. You don't need much room to get off and, you know, snap a picture or something, or just check something out for a minute and then be on your way. Where, you know, when you're in the car, you got to have a pull off and, you know, try to at least be somewhat safe, especially if you're on some of these, you know, back 2-lane roads where there's not a whole lot of room. That's where a motorcycle can just be awesome for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it makes me really appreciate where I live because I live on Route 66, and there's several segregations miles over that you can explore, and it's a nostalgia thing for me too because like I have these places I ride to on a common in a common like occurrence. That way, it makes me appreciate where I live. Old Shell
Hmm.
Station we have here that's like a museum now, an antique mall that's nearby. It's just there's so many neat things, even though we're boring cornfields and all that stuff we got going on over here. There's still something to explore.
Well, it's like for us, we like to when we get over to Eastern Washington. There's an antique. It's a fruit mall, but also like an antique museum, and they have some killer fruit, buys. But one of the main things we always go there for is the saltwater taffy, at the Thorpe Antique Fruit
Oh
Mall,
yeah,
and
yep.
whenever we're over by Ellensburg, it's like you always got to stop in there. And then now that we found Owens Meats, it's an old mom and pop butcher shop in a little town called Clay Elum, has the most amazing freaking pepperoni. But I mean, you go in there, they have jams. I mean, everything you think of: soups, sandwiches. Plus they have. Fuck, I think there's even ice cream. But you can buy, sausage, all these different flavors. Like they had one called Grandpa's Sausage. It's freaking amazing, and you can buy pepperoni in 3-foot sticks for I think it's $3.99 for 3 feet, and
Wow.
they have all kinds of different flavors, and you can sample it. Okay, cool. I'll take some of that, and I will admit I bought 15 feet of it, and then had to stop there on the way back a few days later and buy more.
It was kind of like us when we went to Uranus, Missouri, and went to the fudge factory. Me and Tony went in there. I think cleaned them out of
You went
fudge.
to Uranus to go to the
Yep,
fudge factory?
we got our fudge packed. Yes.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's funny.
No, it was just the perfect place for FDB, right? Uranus, Missouri. Five dirty bikers. We're no shy of dick jokes on the show. So what more perfect place to have FDBM than Uranus?
That's some funny shit.
Yeah, it was a good time though. 104 degrees at the
Whew.
the day of FDBM plus humidity, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun.
And then yeah, and that's the whole point of it. I mean, you get everybody together, and you make the best of it. You have fun. You enjoy the
Yeah.
camaraderie of the community and everybody else, and shoot the shit, have a good ride, and have some fun.
Yeah, it was neat to get all. Well, we had four of the five that could make the event a couple months ago. We had Hogs and Frogs event out in Waynesville, Missouri, and to get together and do a podcast live was pretty surreal.
Okay, I gotta shed this.
The fire's kicking in. He says, "Cue the Kenny G."
Getting too hot. The fire really cranking out some heat
And
now.
he's back.
Sorry, I'm sweating like crazy. It's warm in here now.
No, I don't blame you, man. You're good. No, it's just weird. It's weird, fun, awesome, surreal at the same time because we started this as an online podcast and getting to do it live more than one time when we're all together was really really neat. And I wish we could do it more often, but of course we're spread out all over the U.S., so we're not able to do that week to week. But still have fun nonetheless.
How long you guys had that? I mean, you guys been going for a while now. I mean, what, 3-4 years?
Yeah, it was August of 2019 was the very first show with the original lineup, and maybe except for a handful of days every Monday, we've been doing it ever since. It's fun, man. It's like what we're doing here. This is fun, just
Yeah,
talking to each other.
absolutely.
Yeah. So getting together every week with those four is definitely a highlight of my week.
Oh, it is fun. Exactly how you said. Sitting here, we all had this, that common ground, camaraderie, and when you can just get guys together and you just sit here and talk about having fun, then, why not?
Yeah. So this whole experience has been great since the beginning. Getting to talk to people all across the country, the world, or whatever on our show. Like what it's like on your show to get to talk to people from across the pond. I have a love-hate thing with the internet. I really do. But this is one of the big things about it is people are be able to connect and they don't have to live under the same roof.
And I can understand. I mean, sometimes even if there's 2 or 3 people and you're all in different time zones. But I can only imagine, I mean, you guys with 5, then you throw another guy, especially you go international. It's like, I mean, when I had Rob and the Lady Biker on, which seemed really weird, it's, Sunday night here, and it was Monday morning in Australia, which it was just trying to get that through my head. It's like, it seems like you're talking to the future. It's like, it's Sunday and I'm talking to you and it's Monday.
Yeah. We've had those same experiences, man. Yeah, we had Dad and Matt on from the UK this past week. Gorilla Biker's been on the show. We're looking to have him on again because he just moved to the States not too long ago. So he's adjusting to life in the States, riding motorcycles on the other side of the road.
I didn't mean to reach out to him too.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. That was one of my favorite episodes of all time was Gorilla Biker because I'm a sucker for Ireland. I've got Irish heritage in my blood, so knowing he came from there and getting to talk to him from where he's at to where we're at was a good time. Hell of a guy too.
That's what I heard. I know Bryce talked about him a lot.
Yeah. Yep. He's his channel's been growing like crazy. I think he's more slow and steady, wins the race, but he's got great content.
That's what it's about. I mean, you guys can change stuff up, but I think when you see the people that enjoy doing it and have a passion for it, I think it kind of, you can see it more and it sells them more than guys that are just trying to do it because they want to grow a channel. They just want to have YouTube as a life. Yeah. But you see other people that do it because they're having fun. They just enjoy doing it and sharing their adventures or what they're doing. It's a total different feeling for the content, I think.
Yeah, and he's one of the guys that kept to the traditional motovlog. I mean, when I was doing YouTube, there was a time where I kind of quit that and was doing more off the bike content. Of course, I did a lot of installs and stuff on my bike because it was kind of a unicorn. Not really a unicorn, but its own breed. I think the Sport Glide is, especially since it's not around anymore. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of where the following came from when I was doing videos regularly was like the install stuff because people wanted to see what I was doing in the Sport Glide, right? But I'm glad that doing all those videos connected me to Ryan and Tony and Dave and Brittany, and all of a sudden you got 5 dirty bikers.
Well, especially like for you when you got a bike that's not as common as everybody else that, whether they're riding the Street Glide, Electra Glide, the Batwing bikes, or, the Shark Nation, where there's a lot of stuff out for them content-wise, where you're in a different element because you don't have the common touring bikes that are so popular. So, I mean, I think feels it gives you a niche as something else that, people are searching for that. You're going to stick out more because you don't have, the common touring bike or the whole bagger that everybody's running.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw the video I did on the Lowrider ST when it was released or announced by Harley-Davidson. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, maybe it's because I'm biased, but I really weighed the differences between the two bikes, and I was already sold on the bike I bought. And I really wish that Harley would have given that Sport Glide that 114 that it needed when a lot of the other Softails got that bump up to the 114 at the time. Mm-hmm. I think that's what that bike needed, and maybe just a few other subtle changes. And I think it could have been the Lowrider ST as we know that bike. But you know what? At the end of the day, Harley made the decision, and I respect that. And as long as it's selling and making money for HD and it's good for the moto community, that's that's enough. That's good.
Well, we'll talk about the upgrade with the 114. I know my dad has the 107 in his road glide. And recently, I mean, he went to the True Duels, the Chrome Works. I think he went with the 5-inch, but then he put the cam and intake, high flow intake, and stuck cam in it. And you talk about a night and day difference. Even, changing out the exhaust and getting rid of the such major restricted exhaust. Like he said, he goes, I don't know how they can even breathe. But he goes, it's night and day difference now with just, basically going to, stage 2 and upgrading a few things that he goes, it's riding a different bike.
Yeah, even going from stock to on the 107 to the stage 1, Vance and Hines FP3, tap performance, muffler, RLNS Big Sucker. It was a big jump forward. And I'm at the point where I kind of want a little more power, so I'm good with doing a stage 2 and then probably being done with it because that bike, like I said, it could do anything you want. It could be to the grocery store or to the West Coast from where I'm at, and I'd be totally comfortable on it. I wouldn't bitch at all about, hey, I need a bigger bike. But yeah, man, I thought it was the perfect sport tour. If you want to tour, if you don't want to go up to big bike, which I'm still not at the point at. I don't think I ever want to get rid of my Sport Glide, but I'm enjoying it, man. Just trying to ride it as much as I can. I mean, I haven't done that many mods to it in the last year. I just been wanting to ride it, especially after the accident I had.
I don't remember hearing about your accident.
Oh, I'll give you the cliff notes. I don't want to go on a long rant, but I was
All right.
I was leaving work, and like I said, I commute a lot, and all I wanted was a goddamn KFC chicken sandwich. That's all I wanted in life at that point, right? So I'm through the parking lot out at work on a frontage road, and there's a 18-wheeler stopped, and I'm thinking it's at the stoplight waiting on 66 incoming traffic to go, or there's a car ahead of it or whatever. So I'm about 10, 15 feet behind it, and got my bike in first gear, of course. All of a sudden, that truck starts backing up, and I about shit my pants. I tried duck walking that thing to the side of the road in first gear, no less. Couldn't do it. I heard the truck starting to crunch the front fender. I bailed. I bailed into the grass to the right of me in the ditch. And I just proceeded to watch this guy drag my beautiful Sport Glide 15 feet down the road. And the skid marks on the road are still there to this day. And they aren't from me. They're from the bike. But,
fuck.
And the shit of the whole thing was the guy went in, made his pickup, and still had no idea he hit me.
Jesus.
I was like, what the fuck, man? Luckily, there was a UPS guy that was parked on the side of the road of 66, saw the whole thing happen. So I had a witness. The guy was issued a citation. Horse insurance took of everything. Luckily, I was able to save the bike. I didn't have to. I thought it was totaled. Honestly, I thought the whole thing was totaled. And I don't know if you've seen the pictures on my Instagram, but I had the whole front end was tore up. The forks had to be rebuilt. The whole front end had to be rebuilt. It didn't bend the wheels at all, thank God, because I love those Mantis wheels you have on the Sport Glide. But geez, man, I don't even think I was that shook up, but people told me I was in shock. You had to be. I had fellow employees come out and make sure I was okay. They stayed with me the whole time after I gave my statement. One of my best buddies gave me a tow back to my house. And man, it sucks because at the time, all I could think about was the motorcycle. I think about that. I almost died. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even have that in the forefront of my mind because Ryan was actually supposed to come out and ride with me that coming weekend for a charity ride. And I had to call him. He was like my fourth call. Of course you've got police, you've got wife, employer, and then you got, buddies or whatever. And then, Ryan was like my fourth call. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to come out and ride this weekend, but I don't know if you made your plans already, dude, but if you want to come out, just know that I've got 4 wheels instead of 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Bike's in the shop now.
Yeah. Luckily I got it back right before FTBM 21. So I want to give a shout out to Ted's Harley-Davidson again, because those guys put that bike back together. And it was even kind of during, when we had part shortages and everything. So I'm just like, am I going to have this bike back in time for FTBM? Because that's the event we have every year. I didn't want to go out in a car and look like an asshole.
Go down. Hey, can I just borrow a bike for the weekend while you guys still fixing mine?
Well, Tony had a CB 750 I probably could have ridden, but he offered, so I knew I had something to ride if not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, it's like say, at least you didn't get hurt, and worst case worse, bikes can be fixed. You can't be replaced.
No, man. I got 2 little boys and a wife at home, so it hit me like a ton of bricks when I realized you're being a fucking asshole by thinking about the bike over your family that you almost died. Yeah. But anyway, I got the bike back. It's been good ever since. I'm just so lucky to ride.
Yeah. But, it's one of those things, we all love our bikes. And when something goes bad with them, you just cringe and it's like, fuck, it's like you feel like life's ending, but it's not. But we all have that, just take pride in our bikes and our rides. because we enjoy it. It's part of our lifestyle, part of our lives.
Yep. Yep. It's become a big part of our lives with everything that, the podcast has going on. And, my kids are starting to want to ride. They're about that height to where they want to go for a ride. My oldest told me the other day, he's like, Dad, can I sit on back and ride? I'm like, sure. If you want to, maybe we'll do it next year since the bike's getting put up today. Because I was in the middle of doing its last wash before I read its last rides for the season before I put it in the garage.
Yeah, that's what I remember when my kids were young. First thing, can I ride? Well, if you can touch the back pegs, then you can ride.
Yep.
As long as your feet touch. We had the youth helmet, the youth full face helmet for them, and I remember taking the kids, to school and whatnot on the bike, picking them up, and yeah. Even to this day, my daughter, she's 24, and I still, she lives up in North Puget Sound. There'll be times this summer she'll shoot me a text, hey, Dad, the weather's going to be nice. We should go for a ride. And, all right. Don't twist my arm.
Yeah.
I went up when we had the Fire and Iron Motorcycle Club, their chapter up in Skagit County. They always help put on the Refuse to Forget 9/11 Memorial Ride. So I picked her up, and then we rode up to the Peace Arch. She rode with me on that ride in September, which was awesome. It's a great ride, but it's fun when you can still share that stuff with your kids and they still enjoy it and enjoy hanging out with you still.
Yeah, and the Dad and Mad podcast we just had was just so inspiring because I asked a couple questions about riding with your child, and I've got two, and one might ride, one wants to ride right now, but it's just I was just curious about that whole thing. And John and Maddie, they're just such a fun watch, man. It's really inspiring to get you to get out and do things with your kids and have good experiences together. That's what it's all about.
Well, this summer my son Hayden picked up his first bike. He got a steal of a deal on a V-Star 1300 touring bike. Went through the motorcycle safety course, got his license and whatnot. He'd been riding for about 1 month when he went on a 3,000-mile trip and rode with me back to South Dakota this summer. And that was the most epic, fun ride. Just for me, I really enjoy, riding with my dad. And it was the first week when he got his bike, got his permit, we're out riding. I remember I called Setzer Pendant and said, dude, I totally understand how you feel, how my dad gets riding with your son. It's an awesome experience. And then, I had the deal to go over to South Dakota, meet up with Craig and all the guys at the Hoka, meet a lot of people that I've had on the podcast. And Amy's like, well, you thought about seeing if Hayden would want to go? I said, well, I've thought about it. It's like, kind of nervous. I don't know if he'd want to do it. And I talked to him. He said, oh, yeah, I'll definitely go. And, he accepted the challenge. It was an absolute awesome ride. He rode flawlessly. You would have thought that he'd been riding for a very long time and not literally on the road for a month. Granted, he grew up riding dirt bikes. So, riding two wheels wasn't new, but riding on the road it's a total different element than riding on the dirt. But man, he rode great. We're, hooked up with Setzer Pendants, and we got Springer Mike and Wrenchbender Nick in the chat. They came over from Wyoming, stayed with us over in Rapid City, and we all hung out for the weekend and, rode all over to the Black Hills on Sunday, since my bike spent the day Saturday at Rapid City Harley-Davidson because it wanted to take a shit with the charging system. But that's a whole nother ball game. But, so the one day got cut short, but, we made up for it Sunday. And even the campground we stayed at, the people that own it ride. And you get over Sturgis, there's like all the businesses have these 11 by 18 maps of the whole area. In the campground we were staying at, the No Name City RV and Campground, dude, it's an awesome place. You rent cabins, tents, whatever. But you can pitch tent. They have RVs there, but they have a full bar, restaurant in the campground.
I'm interested.
Swimming pool, everything. It was killer. And so we stayed there for 3 nights, but she's like, oh, you should check this out. So I took one of the maps and said, hey, build us a route, build us a ride for tomorrow. We'll go check it out. And oh, well, you got to do this. So she built us a killer route. We'd Iron Mountain Road, Spearfish Canyon, the Needles Highway, went up Mount Rushmore, breakfast in Keystone. And I definitely want to go back again. I think if anybody wants to go in there pre-rally where there's not a million other bikes, so you can somewhat enjoy the roads.
Yep.
But man, the Black Hills are absolutely freaking amazing. And I know my wife and I, we really want to go back again and do it because it was so much fun, but we want to explore more, have more time. I really want to spend a half day in Deadwood. And if you enjoy history, I do, and there's so much of it over there, and would love to spend more time. But yeah, the No Name City campground and RV is fuck. It's an awesome place. Their rates are totally cool. I mean, they have all the amenities you need: breakfast, lunch, dinner, shower facilities, laundry, swimming pool, hot tub, and it was a cool place. We had a great little cabin we rented there, and fuck, it was a blast.
Oh yeah, man. And like we have like on FDB we have a Discord, of course, so we have kind of like a mentor page or whatever that or channel that's dedicated to that. So if you live in this area, you have a connection to go ride with somebody and find the good roads instead of just riding on the interstate or whatever if you want to get through a state. Like here, I would do like I've got like a 200-mile course plan to go down Great River Road, which I don't know if anybody listening or watching has done Great River Road between Alton, Illinois and Grafton. It's probably the best road in Illinois, if not top 3. And it's only 40 minutes from me. So I can go from flat cornfields to a beautiful road where you have 100-foot limestone bluffs on your left and you have the river Mississippi right on your right. It's a beautiful road.
And see, for us out here, you know, in 2 hours, I can be at the Cascades, and they have what, you know, they call it the Cascade Loop. But with all the different mountain passes, you can, depending which loop you want, you could take the Cascade Loop in 10 different directions.
Yeah.
All depends how long do you want to ride and how far. Do you want to make it 2 days and stretch out and do a 2-day ride? And, you know, for us, riding the Cascade Mountains it's just freaking awesome. It's beautiful. Yeah. But then there's other places. You can go up North Puget Sound. We got a cool place called the Chuckanut, which runs parallel to I-5 going north, but you're riding right along Puget Sound in this little twisty 2-lane. And it's an awesome ride. All these little pull-off vantages where, you know, that you'll see oil tankers docked out there waiting to get into the refineries. And it's a cool little hidden gem. There's a great little barbecue place called the Longhorn Saloon. Makes killer food in this little podunk town of Edison. There's like 2 90-degree corners and you're out of Edison. There ain't much there.
No.
But in the summertime, you can come down there and all you can smell is that barbecue joint. And they make killer food. Cool environment.
Yeah. Makes it all worth it, especially when you have 2 wheels. Because I'm kind of fortunate. I'm kind of right in the middle where you have St. Louis style pizza and deep dish. Because Chicago's that way, St. Louis is that way. So I get kind of the best of both worlds here, man.
That's my other weakness, pizza. I love it.
Well, have you tried like authentic New York style pizza?
I don't know if you can call it authentic because I've never been to the East Coast, so
okay.
I don't know.
So back in 2000, I was in a TV class, and we got to go to New York and like film the choir doing a concert at like St. Mary's Cathedral or something like that downtown New York in Manhattan or wherever it was. But one of the things we had the coolest chaperone too, because he was a good old boy, and he just said, "Okay, go wherever you want. Meet back here in 2 hours." Now, who says that to 3 or 4 18-year-old kids that are in the middle of New York, in the heart of New York, right? So we went everywhere. We went to the top floor of NBC Studios, saw a bunch of suits stare at us, so we went back down, and then we were just a couple blocks off of right there at the Big Apple, like right there in the middle. What do you call it? Times Square, right? Pretty much everywhere you could spit, you could find a pizza parlor, right? So we stopped into this one 2 blocks off, and they had some of the best pizza I ever had in my life. You could get a slice and like a large Coke for like $2.99, and that granted it was back in 2000 still. That's a pretty good deal for a big ass slice of pizza. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
I know, like, for us, you can go, like, over here we have Costco. You can get a huge slice. I mean, you only have 2 choices, but I think now it's probably $5 and you get 1 slice, but it covers the entire freaking plate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I love pizza.
Yeah, no shit, man. Who doesn't like pizza?
Good point. Anybody that does has an issue.
Let us know if you don't like pizza in the side chat.
Yeah. Because you might get banned. No, I'm just kidding.
No, man, if you're ever in the Midwest, you know, if you're making your way across or something, you got somebody to show you around South Central Illinois, St. Louis Metropolitan.
Yeah, there's so many places. I'd love to get over there. It's like I need to win the lottery so I can just travel and go check all the stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what makes, even though we're in our 40s, we know that we're not sitting on the couch, the rest of our days. We're going to go out and do shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a motorcycle to do so.
Well, and it just helps, I mean, same with you guys with the Five Dirty Bikers. What I've done, you build this network of friends, whatnot, these people you've had on. And it's like you build connections and friends and all over that. Hey, I'm going to be in this area. It's like, point me in directions. What's a good place to eat? Want to meet up to eat? There's, it's like to think that you built a friendship of friends of everywhere in the country, and plus, the more people that we get to meet international, and man, that's to me is the biggest reward of doing this is the friends that I meet and that I've got to meet, and a lot of these guys that I've got to meet personally also, but even guys that we haven't met, but how many people have you talked to online for 2-3 years, but you still never met, within our community? And, if you in the area reach out, they'd lend a hand, help you out, point you in direction, meet you for a drink, dinner, whatever.
Yep. That's what's been cool about this whole thing. Yeah, we've been able to make so many connections on the show. Personally on YouTube, I did. That's where I met Joe the Great Egret when we started Five Dirty Bikers. That all stemmed from that meeting up for the first time. Man, and knowing now that we've got people that have been riding across the country to come hang out for a weekend, speechless, man.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. I gotta throw wood in the fire.
For sure.
Cooling off.
So HD AV Traveler, what's your preference, New York style or Chicago? I like both, honestly, but I think I'm more of a New York guy.
New York pizza?
Yeah, we've been talking. Somebody in the chat there, HD AV Traveler, was talking about New York and both Chicago styles both rule. I agree, because I love me some deep dish.
Oh, I love deep dish pizza.
Yeah, we got a good spot here in St. Louis I've taken my son to, and he's kind of a pizza connoisseur, so he knows when you give a good mark, it's a place to come back. They do New York style pizza. It's called Pie Guy. It's down in St. Louis, in the busy district. But man, I would drive an hour and 10 minutes just to go get a large pizza from there. It's that good, and I've done that twice. Yeah, that's what's good about living next to a big city.
A lot of options for you, yeah.
Oh yeah, yep. St. Louis has a big Italian following, so there's no short of whatever you want. Soulard, down there's just so much. The sporting teams are great. It's a great city to visit, even though you may hear some negative things about St. Louis, but it's been next to home for so long that you still want to go every time.
But anymore, I think any larger metropolitan city like St. Louis, I mean, there's always going to be somebody that there's negatives are in it anywhere, and it's you just make your own decisions of it. Make the best of it, and that's the thing. We all have our own opinions and stuff, but you don't know until you check it out.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm anxious to show anybody around that wants to come out this way. If you got a weekend free, if you're going to be in South Central Illinois between Springfield and St. Louis, I'm willing to ride with anybody. Doesn't matter the bike.
What's that? Maybe back-to-back iron butts.
I've been considering that.
How far is that from my house? Oh, dude,
it's long.
They're addicting. You do one, and I was like, after I did my first ride 1K, and it was like, damn, this was a lot of fun. And, then I did the Monsters Over Mountains in August. We did the bun burner the first day, and then ended up doing the saddle sore, and then the bun burners. We did 1,550 miles in 35 hours.
Nice. Good for you, man. Yeah,
it's only 2,100 miles of St. Louis, Missouri. 2,195 miles. I shouldn't do that in 2 days.
That's a throw, man.
I'll leave tomorrow. We'll have pizza on Wednesday. How's that?
Hell yeah. Here. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, talk with Dad, Wright, who I got to know really well. He's talking about, next year coming out for the Monsters Over Mountains ride. He's like, well, I've done it before. He goes, I can go from Jersey to Washington in 3 days. It's like, Jesus. You just got to hammer down. It's doable. I've done it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, you just got to get some calluses on your taint, then you're fine.
Hey, that's what wild ass is for.
Hey, man. No calluses on this taint with my wild ass cushion.
I remember Hayden
totally sponsored, by the way.
100%. Right there.
Yep. And down in the corner down.
Yeah.
Backwards down there.
There it is. Whoa, there we go. Get the finger in control.
No, it's so cool to be associated with somebody that is also a big fan of their product. Craig was really wanting to get into the podcast scene with pushing his product, and I know you wouldn't, and we don't. We're not just going to take anything from anybody just because sponsorship, Wild Ass Seats are legit, man.
Absolutely, and I'll give it to Craig. After I had him on towards the beginning, I got introduced to him, I think it was through Riot, and he started asking some questions about other sponsors that I had, and worked out. He goes, tell you what, he was like, I want to come on board. He goes, I'm going to send you some of the seats. He goes, but you're not going to mention me. He goes, until you have at least a few thousand miles. He goes, and there's one other stipulation. He goes, I know. He goes, I've been following along. He goes, and I know that your dad is one of your best riding partners. He's like, so you got 2 seats coming. He goes, one's for you, one's for your dad. And then, of course, he's sent one for Amy. And I have over 10,000 miles of mine, and I won't ride without it. There's no way. I fucking love that thing.
I got to the point where I left it on for commutes. I don't take it off.
I don't ever take mine off.
Oh.
I mean, I've ridden in the blistering heat. I think the worst was 114, 115 when I left Yakima, where the rest of my body's miserably. I'm sweating like a mofo, but dude, my ass was totally fine.
Yeah.
And they are worth their money. They built a great product, and I understand why all your, what I like to call your professional endurance riders, why they swear by them.
Oh, they're the best, man. One of the mistakes I made when I had the Sportster, because I had an Iron 883 14 when I started riding, right? So two of the things I didn't do were points of contact. I didn't change the seat on that Sporty, which was probably the only thing I didn't change on it, and I put drag bars on it, and my back is kind of saying "fuck you" right now for that mistake, but. I mean, I had a lot of fun with that little Sportster, and I wouldn't say I'd do it any other way, but having a wild ass seat on that Sportster would have been revolutionary.
Oh, it probably would have changed a whole lot of your ergonomics and comfortability and enjoyment.
Yep, it's good stuff. My wife uses it on her exercise bike.
One of my son's friends last year when we had a bunch of snow was plowing in a side-by-side and just had the hard plastic seat, and Hayden had met up with him, one of the park stores, like Safeway, big huge chain. They were plowing the parking lot and complaining about his ass. He's like, dude, I'll bet my dad will let you borrow a wild ass. He's like, what are you talking about? And I mean, they were a quarter mile from my house, and so they came down and said, here you go, dude, try this out, Nate. And I gave him, said, you can borrow it. I said, don't lose it and bring it back when you're done plowing. And he said things like, dude, this thing is awesome. He's like, tell you what, move your cars, I'll plow your driveway, and I'll clear it for you. So he got the driveway plowed for nothing, but he used it for like a week, came back, he's like, dude, that is a game changer. He goes, holy crap. It was amazing.
Yeah. Did Craig talk to you on the phone at all and tell you how you should use it in your car, use it at your...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you drive trucks, so you probably have some miles on that thing just from your rig.
Yeah, I've thought about taking it in my work truck. I mean, because I drive 2,500 miles a week, Monday through Friday. It's 500 miles a day.
Good for you, man.
But I mean, my chair's comfortable, and I'll be curious. I'll be fortunate. It's supposed to be here this week, a 2023 Western Star, and we'll see how the seats are in the new one. But I've really considered using it a few times just to see how much of a difference it would make. But the air chair that I have in my Western Star now is pretty comfortable. But there's always room for improvement.
Yeah. Just like our bikes, man, there's always something else you want to do to it. But I think I'm finally getting to the point without that stage 2 that I'm just ready to rock and roll the way it is.
No, you want a set of those cams.
I do. SNS is just waving big dick energy at me, and I'm just ready to grab it.
Yeah, I'd love to put my hands on that SNS 111. Put that in the old Black Betty.
Oh man, what do they have? Didn't they release a 132 not that long ago? Just to one up Harley by one.
It's somewhere. I want to say it was like a 136. A buddy of mine, Colin, he has the S&S 124, and he's putting down 155 horse at the rear tire out of his 124. It is absolutely insane. I was riding with him, and we passed some cars on the interstate. You know, a couple car pass. I'll admit we're damn near at triple digit, and he past me, like I was doing 50. And it's like, holy crap. And, you know, next gas stop, I'm like, what? And I said, I know it's an S&S, but what the hell is that? Oh, it's the 124. He's like, oh, yeah, you know, she's putting down a 156 to the rear tires. Like, Jesus Christ. It is insane. He's like, I wouldn't recommend it. He goes, like, if you want a, you know, a good touring bike, you know, a good S&S, he goes, trust me, dude, the 111, he goes, to be way better. He goes, it's like 124 horse, but a little more friendly on the gas, whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool, but it's still like, I did look it up. I want to say it was like $7,000. Which would be cool, but I don't have $7,000 to.
Yeah, having $7,000 would be cool.
But I can't complain. I mean, you know, I got mine's the 88. She's been bumped up to a 95, and she still purrs down the highway. I mean, it's cammed and tuned, and it still does great. And the twin cams, I say, will go forever, and I'm gonna keep riding it until she gives up. But I've got 111,000 on it.
Nice. Yeah, we'll see where the Sport Glide goes. I had a kind of a mission to one up that Lowrider ST because I was so pissed when it released. And they said, Sport Glide, you're fucking gone, asshole. It's like, God damn it. But at the end of the day, I have the bike I want. So it doesn't even matter if it's gone or not, you know?
Yeah, it's yours. And, you know, that's the whole thing. Sometimes it's like I wouldn't say I get irritated. You know, people buy new, but hey, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I buy these? You know, they ask all these questions, and I always like, you know, to me, it's like, dude, think of yourself as an artist. You got a bike, you got a blank canvas. Make the bike yours. Yep. It doesn't matter what Billy Bob does to his or what Joe Sam over here did. Do what you want to do and make your bike an extension of you, of how you want it to look.
Yeah,
and you know, that's just been my philosophy. I mean, it's one thing to ask questions about products, and I mean, totally get it, but you know, just because your next door neighbor did, you know, a set of fucking fish hooks on his bike, and you know he's running this seat, and you know he's got this exhaust, doesn't mean you got to do the same thing.
Nah.
You know, do a little bit of homework, research it, and build your bike.
Yep. And that's exactly what I'm doing, man. I'd like to get those more vintage style looking FXR fairings for mine, like the full shebang with the lowers that's connected to it. I think what is it, Dominion or Dominator? No, Dominator. I think it's Dominator. That makes one I'd love to put on my bike, but like I said, I'm pretty happy with the way it is now. I mean, I can't complain, and found the bike I want, so good enough for me.
I've been considering a set of I think it's Desert Dog. They make a set of, I think they're leather lowers that'll strap into the crash bars just for that colder weather riding, or you know, those times you get caught up in the rain, because you can put them on in like 2 minutes and take them off and roll them up and throw them in the tour pack when you know a guy doesn't really need the lowers. And I will say my bike had a set of those, and when I got it from my dad, that he decided that he should keep those for his new one, even though they don't fit right, and he still won't relinquish it when they're actually for mine. So Dad, you know, if you actually listen, you should hand those over. Actually, he does listen from time to time out. I just like to give him shit when I can.
I have no idea if my dad ever listens to Five Dirty Bikers. He never asked me about it, really, but there's some episodes where I probably don't want him to. Nah.
But no, I mean, it's comical, though. I mean, I go ride with my dad. You get my dad, whether he's in his hot rod or, you know, on his bike, and all of a sudden he's like, it's like he's fucking 20 years old. 55 speed limit. He's doing 75, flying down the highway. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there was, you know, I was looking through old pictures of my old man a few years back, and my old man actually rode. He had Honda and Kawasaki bikes. I think this was before my older brother was born. But knowing that he rode, and I really wish he would have picked it back up. So how cool would it be to ride with your dad?
It's awesome, dude.
That hasn't ridden in, 40 years. How cool would that be?
That would be just fucking awesome.
So, Dad, I don't care. I don't care if you have to get a fucking trike. Let's go ride.
Amen.
Yeah.
Now you got Fran Bunny. She's very true. You get out of Seattle in the Northwest, we have some amazing back roads and lakes. One of my favorite I really enjoy is Skagit Valley. Get up north through the Skagit Valley. They have a scenic loop up there through Darrington and Oso, and it's freaking gorgeous.
So this is a long shot ass, but have you been to a Seattle Kraken game yet?
No.
No? You're not a hockey fan?
I'm not a hockey fan.
Okay.
I've been to one hockey game. One time up in Vancouver Island, it was a minor league game when, I was a teenager. I was up there doing some hill climb racing, and the guy's place I was staying at, his son was a coach. And so hey, you got to come down and check out this team. And so he got to take us to a minor league game, but that's the only hockey game I've ever been to. I know my daughter's been to a few of the Everett Silvertips. They're like a minor league team.
Mm-hmm.
And says it's absolutely cooler than hell. And, we're up. Says we all need to go soon, so we might do that maybe the springtime or whenever the next season is, but I have not been to a Kraken game yet.
So me and my wife made it a kind of tradition every year to go to Pittsburgh to watch the Penguins play live, because I've been a Penguins fan ever since I was 11, right? So finally we were able actually to go, and I was, we went to the new stadium, or not stadium, the arena that they built. Because Mellon Arena was gone. They built PPG Paints Arena down there in downtown Pittsburgh. And man, you talk about a good time going to a pro game. Just getting to ride somewhere. And I think this is where the whole motorcycle thing comes in for me too, because I love road trips. So getting to ride from Illinois to Pittsburgh to go to a game was, getting there was just half the fun. Of course we had tons of fun at the game and everything, but I've been voted Pittsburgh Penguins Fan of the Week twice, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got to go on the ice for a little in-between period contest one time. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that'd be fucking super fucking cool.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's it's a really, really cool city. If any of you haven't been, please go if you get the opportunity, because I love it every time we go. It's a really blue-collar city, industrial, and the sports teams there, they really, really meld together because they all wear the same colors and everything. It's like one of the few cities, I think, that all the sports teams wear the same colors.
The black and yellow, or black and gold, whatever you want to say.
Black and yellow.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
I didn't mean to get us off of motorcycles.
Oh. Dude, no worries at all. But that's the whole thing, though. I mean, you take your bike, you go ride places. I mean, you talk hockey. It's like, well, shit, I was, up there for motorcycle events, and that's all part of it. It all ties together some way.
That's a bucket list ride, to go ride my bike there, stay overnight, watch a game, buy the shit out of stuff and fill it in my saddlebags and come back.
So how long take you to get to Pittsburgh from your place?
Probably between 12 and 13 hours on bike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So most of an iron butt.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do it. Ride one cane a day to a Pittsburgh Penguins game. And hell, you're right up in Rambo's backyard.
Yeah, no kidding. No, it's on the list, man. It's one of those things. Can't wait to do it.
It is fun, and they are addicting. And there's different formats. That's one thing. They're not trying to put down one organization over the other. Rambo's format is a little bit more simple, but also having your name in that Iron Butt book and getting your number through the IBA Society, that's your number for life, is freaking cool. And then the IBA does so many different sanctioned rides. I mean, there's individual rides for every state, and it's just really cool to look through all of them. It's like, oh hey, I could do that one. You got this, and there's all kinds of themed ones, and they're both great organizations. I mean, I can't not putting one down over the other. They're both great and both long standing and just fun to do.
It would be cool if FDB could meet at one spot, do an iron butt. How cool would that be?
Well, you could, and the cool thing would even say, Rambo, you do the 5 Dirty Bikers. He could actually, send you a certificate to become the 5 Dirty Bikers 1K.
Yeah, we make it at one as a group and not just as separate people. If we could put that in there. Yeah. Iron
Butt Society did that for ours with the Monsters Over Mountain certificates. They pulled out their logo and stuck the Monsters Over Mountains logo that we had for that fundraiser ride and put all of it on our certificates.
Nice.
And then Rambo also did that for ours, which was cool. And it's an awesome thing to be part of. With Mile Monsters, it's an awesome organization, and as a parent, to you got to give those parents strength to know that their kids have a disease that is fatal. And as I've been part of it for a little bit longer, and following the groups and the posts, it's heartbreaking. And I don't understand how, if this disease affects, they say 1 in 5,000, then how is this a rare disease? And being as the government says it's rare, they don't get the funding. You get pennies on the dollar. But if it was to become common, then there's a whole lot more money opens for research. And so that's all part of it stems from, is not just, it's great to raise funds to help these families, help these boys live their best life, but raise awareness of the disease and get it out there more so people see it, in the hopes of it can get switched to that other column, and they can really start doing more science and more research and try to help save these boys.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to hear what some families have to go through, and that's the same with what we're doing for our autism bike that FDB is having built with Jared Weems and Blockhead right now. That's going to help a ton of people, because like Jared's already promising to surpass that 52 Triumph he had made for Forgotten Angels. Me and Jared are both autism dads, so we have that kind of a bond. And since we got to meet at FDBM 21, I just proposed an idea to have a bike built and collaborate with him, because like I said, he's an autism dad. I'm an autism dad. Like, we could do some good for a community that we're both a part of.
Very true.
Yeah. So it didn't take long to convince him. He was ready to do it, and I was so excited to hear that. Good weekend, big win.
Oh, but, absolutely.
Yeah, getting to the point where we are now, where the paint job, and this is an exclusive for this podcast, but Milkbone, the well-revered bike painter in Orlando, is doing the paint for this bike right now, or getting close to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So Milkbone's doing that, and the engine it's a 75 iron head that we had donated from a generous individual up north by Chicagoland. But Jared's been really putting a lot of work into this bike with his boy and himself, and man, just to see the videos happening every week and what's going on with this bike from where it was to where it is now. I don't know if you've seen pictures of it, but it's a total transformation. And there were a lot of people giving Jared shit that you're taking this pristine 75 iron head and you're going to cut it in half. But with what me and Jared, put up with day to day, or I should say put up with, but what we go through every day, and we know that there's families out there that are really dealing with a lot of hard times with autism. And like I've said before, it's a spectrum. So a lot of people have it worse, a lot of people have it better. But in the end, we know that this bike, even though it's getting chopped in half, is going to do great things for a community that really needs it.
Oh, 100%. It's awesome to see, what you guys are doing for your community. And plus, you have a personal touch to it.
Yeah, and it's all about the motorcycle community, man. I said this to Jared on our one-on-one that we just did recently. I've said this to everybody in the podcast. For you guys listening, you probably heard the same thing. There's no other community like the two-wheel community.
Very true. 100%. Yeah. The support we get from one another, and it's absolutely amazing. And when I did mine for the Mile Monsters, I was just hoping that I could raise $1,000 and not feel like an absolute failure to me, and surpass that, a lot, and was absolutely amazed. And it all became from the support of, the motorcycle community, friends and family, and other, people that want to get behind stuff like this. And it's absolutely awesome. And, I agree 100% with what you're saying. The support we get from other riders in the community, and the messages, I wouldn't say the pat on the backs in a way, but essentially it is, with the DMs you'll get from somebody when you're doing this stuff, and just the support, and, the little pick me up messages. It's awesome.
1,000, man. Couldn't agree more.
It was for us. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and we got a lot of plans for this bike, and I'm just so glad that we're going to be able to share it with a community that needs it. And hoping to do an unveiling sometime. Well, we're kind of keeping that quiet right now. We're just still trying to figure things out as far as where we're going to be doing the unveiling of the bike and everything. But just knowing who's working on it right now has just got us so excited.
Dude, that's awesome. So is it going to be like a route people are going to be able to buy tickets for it, or?
Yeah. I think we're thinking maybe by December, January, we'll start getting tickets for sale on 5dirtybikers.com. But yeah, if you guys, if you guys want, come check it out. It's going to go to a good cause. So if you can help, if you can spare a little, it means the world to us.
So here's my question. So you're going to have a set number with a set price, or, a certain number of tickets, and then once you meet that goal, or have you got that far yet?
We haven't really gotten that far. I think we're just we're following the shadow of Jared Weems and what he did for the Forgotten Angels. He raised $106,000 for that 52 Triumph. So we're consulting with him to try to get us in the right direction on how we should approach this and everything. But in the coming weeks to month, we should have a better idea.
Okay. No, I'm just curious.
No, yeah.
Because I know, like, some places, there'll only be X amount of tickets, this price. When it's done, then we do that, or you let it roll. So
yeah, I think we're gonna let it roll because I've spoken to somebody from the charity that we actually chose to benefit from the bike raffle, and that's TACA, the Autism Community in Action. And of course, you can scroll through a website all day long and find out about a company, but until you actually call somebody and find out what these people actually do from somebody's voice, how many people that they help, that they're nationwide, they can help a lot of people with just a short reach is what really landed us on this charity. So it's kind of the direction we went with who's going to benefit from it, and let's hope that we could do some positive for that community.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'll definitely be, sharing all your posts and whatnot, and do anything that I can to help get that word out and spread the message.
Man, same goes your way. If you got something that you're helping with, reason for, you let us know. We're there with you to support that cause. So
awesome.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
No, it's been a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to wanting to sit down and talk with you. And I don't know if if you get the same way. Coming on another show, it just seems way less stressful, and it's like you just kick back, and
it's still weird. I'm used to being on your side of the things, so coming on this side, it's an honor, and I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Oh no, absolutely. And it's fun to with somebody like yourself, because you host another show, and when you're on the other side of it, it's just, I don't know, in a way, not that it's stressful over here, but it's just like stress free. It's like you're just hanging out and shooting the shit, and it seems like a total different environment. Same thing, but it's just a different experience. It's fun. Yeah,
it actually is. I've had a lot of fun, and we'll have to have you on the show sometime.
Yeah, man, anytime. I'd love to.
If you got dick jokes, we'll listen to them. That's kind of what we do, and we talk a little bit of motorcycle stuff.
Yeah, I can make you laugh. Trust me.
Oh, hey, we've got Professional Monkey on live in a couple of weeks, dude. We're pulling back the punching bag. We're just swinging for wind.
Monkey's cool as shit. But I will admit, when I had his wife on, dude, her numbers of any show has surpassed everything. She's blown every show I've ever done out of the water with the views and whatnot, and it was so much fun. She's cooler than shit. I love that woman. She's awesome.
Yeah, Mrs.
But the monkeys are just super cool people. They're fun to chit chat with and everything. They're great ambassadors to the community.
Yep. Love those people. They're awesome.
So, well, shoot, man. Anything you want to say in closing, and promote what you got coming up soon, or anything else?
Well, I'm going to point everything to FDB, because I'm not really concerned about my personal YouTube channel right now anyway, because I kind of quit the whole thing. But 5dirtybikers.com. Listen to us every Monday morning. What was that?
Denver is a dick joke.
You'll fit right in then, man.
Oh, fuck. Fucking Dallas, you mofo.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a new episode coming out in the morning with Doodle on a motorcycle. her YouTube channel. She's coming on tomorrow. Got a one-on-one with Jared Weems where it's just me and Jared talking about the bike build and everything. Of course, you go to the website to find all you want about the raffle. And Denver, thank you, man. I'm sorry I'm babbling, but
no, man, this has been a lot of fun, man. Thank you for wanting to come on a Sunday night. I know it's a little later for you than it is for me, but man, it's awesome. I really enjoyed this. It was a good time,
dude. Best time. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah. Well, guys, hey, thanks for tuning in to another Milepost. Here's where we're knocking on 82. I can't believe I'm getting close to 100. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do.
You know what's weird about this whole thing? Are you like stalking me or something? You know when my birth year was, so you put me as your 82 milepost.
Hey, I try to just make things correlate for you youngsters. You 80s babies.
Just here to take some pictures, right?
Screenshots, shorts, YouTube. Got to get all the entertainment.
There you go.
But no, guys, hey, man, thank you. Ride safe, have fun, enjoy the open road, and stay tuned next week. Milepost 83 with the military biker. That's going to be fun. So, hey, we will see you guys next week, man. See you all guys later.
Thank you, everybody.